everyone. Welcome back to Fake Nerds Watch, where we're talking about WandaVision and the MCU rules don't apply anymore. All right, I'm Sparks Whitty. This is Ryan Eliopoulos.
Hello.
I am also joined by Brandon McClure and Ben Magnet. And we're here to talk about the latest episode of WandaVision, episode 5, on a very special episode of ...
Oh, that's what it's called?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
May I start off by saying
No.
one thing? I have for years said that the MCU won't do that, won't do this. No way. I gotta stop saying that.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing they won't do.
there are no more rules.
In a similar vein, Brandon. Spoiler alert, I think this episode rules. The whole show has been great. I'm still waiting for the ball to drop and go, oh, this episode wasn't as good. But that's not ever the case. Every episode gives me something to chew on, like a good mystery. It's well shot. The acting's all great. This episode is definitely the most weird. Like, it keeps getting more Lynchian, and that is my shit. It's just how unsettling and unnerving it makes you feel. And this is an MCU $1 million television show. I still can't believe this is what we're getting the show. I feel #blessed.
And you know what? I will say, well, I'm going to dance around the cameo at the end because we're not going to talk about that till a little later. But the thing is, I don't think that is. I think that's the end of the episode. Everyone's like flipping out. Yeah, that's great. I don't think that's the best part of the episode.
Yeah,
that really great moment is not the best part about this episode.
I don't think that thing will be around for a long time, but I think the next episode will be a lot of it.
I think like a truly great episode, we probably have different favorite moments. And I agree with you. That's not my favorite moment either.
No, the end part of the episode, that was definitely the oh shit moment. But the best part, I mean, yeah, that's definitely not. I mean, some people like, oh my god, that was the best part. I was like, not really.
Well, don't say it like that because that's not true. That's a really incredible moment that I never thought would happen in a million years. But my favorite moment comes before that.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so let's just get into it. Vision is starting to suspect something.
Oh, yes, he is.
Vision is past starting, my friend. Vision 100% is aware that there is something to be suspicious of. Yeah.
So it's been like four decades at this point almost, right? Like started in the 50s or whatever, or 30 years or so. Vision at the start of the show is under the spell or whatever of Wanda's got going on, right? And just slowly but surely, because he is like his own independent being, or because he's so tied to Wanda, he's losing that control, right? So like this is the episode where he's like, "Yo, what's going on? Like, really, what's going on?" Like from the get-go, because like he's been dealing with this for so long, it's like he's become almost like immune to it, like building up to it.
Well, we saw a hint of this in the first episode when he asked Norm, like, "What do we do here?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's asking, he can't quite figure out what this place that he works at does, and then he
but he shrugs it off, like, "Oh yeah,"
he shrugs it off, yeah. But then it's this one where he's like, "This isn't normal."
Yeah, like with the stuff with Agnes, where like it's very much like Agnes does a thing of like a theater actor, like, do we want to do it from the top? Do you want to redo that take? And Vision's like, what the F is going on? What's happening?
He's like, that's super weird.
Yeah.
And then Wanda's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, Wanda, did you really just not see that?
Yeah, it's like, it's almost, it's like she's gaslighting him, and it's so weird.
She's 100% gaslighting him.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, he's like this robot man, and it's like, it's so crazy what's going on.
So I think because I want to talk about stuff that happened in that scene, and I think there's only one way to like really go about it the way I want to. We have to like just address broadly in this episode something that is my take, my opinion, having watched it twice, and I felt this way the first time. I'm more certain of it the second time. Agnes is the entity in control. Whether she is that entity herself or a representation of it, she is that entity in control. And I do not believe that Wanda walked out of Westview. I don't believe that's Wanda. I'll go even further to say I don't believe that Wanda took Vision's body. I don't think that was Wanda either.
Spicy.
I think that is whatever Agnes is. And I'm going to say up front that I feel that Agnes, that Wanda truly doesn't remember what Agnes just did when she's saying to Vision, what?
Yeah.
When he's saying, you didn't see what I just saw. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's fine. She's trying to move past it. when Agnes breaks that moment and she says, "You want me to take the babies?" That's not a question. It's a statement. She's saying, "This is what you want, Wanda. Take the tape back. Do it again."
Mhm.
And I think that Agnes's entity just can't control Vision.
Yeah.
I think that she's not prepared for what Vision can be or do, and can't account for it, but can still kind of keep Wanda on a level.
Because I think I going into that, like, Wanda wants to be a part of this in some way.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think on some level, not even anymore that Wanda made a deal, that Wanda she wants this. This is something she's being drawn towards.
If I may give my overall kind of take,
we have to broad stroke this because there's constant evidence about who's doing what throughout this episode. So we're going to have to go ahead.
I definitely agree with you that it is not Wanda taking Vision's body, although I think it's Wanda's body. I think she's possessed.
It could be that, but she's like, yeah.
I think someone is using her abilities to do this, because we also in this episode we get the confirmation that Wanda's powers are way more than we've ever seen in the MCU before. They say is like, if she can rewrite reality, that's more powerful than we've ever seen her.
Well, again, but like that's assuming that it is Wanda's powers doing it.
Sure. And then I want to say that I do think it was Wanda leaving and throwing the thing, because I think at this point she is fully aware that she is in a fabricated world. She just doesn't want to leave because Vision's there.
I agree that I think she is aware that this world is fabricated, because later in the episode she says to Vision, "You don't want to know what's outside Westview." However, I will push back and say I do not think it's Wanda who stepped out and talked to the director. I don't think she knows truly what's happening, because I think when she's talking to Vision at the end of the episode, it is sincere. I can't possibly be doing this. I can't be in control. I don't know how this started, and we're here now.
Yeah, I agree with that. But my only pushback, sorry, Ben, real quickly, my only pushback is that she has her accent when she's outside of Westview.
I totally get that. I stand by that. I think that's just meant to be convincing to us as an audience and the director.
Ben?
My pushback to Sparks, what you were saying, is that because we speculated that Wanda made a deal with Mephisto, and that's still my thing. I'm going to stick to that until the end of the episode. And I'm thinking that Wanda did come out that she's like, hey, but what parts of the deal, like one of the terms, is that she can't tell anyone else what exactly is going on. That's why she can't tell Vision what's outside of Westview. That's why when she does go out, the thing is like, I can't leave, because if I do, then my deal is broken and I lose everything.
Yeah.
So that's her. So her saying, "Is this yours?" And it's like, just stay out of my way. And then she goes back without really giving anything, because if she tells S.W.O.R.D everything that's been going on, deals off.
But she doesn't want to tell S.W.O.R.D. She just wants S.W.O.R.D to leave them alone, because whether or not, no matter what, she is okay with what's happening.
Yeah.
So here's my pushback on that. I will acknowledge, maybe it's me just optimistically not wanting Wanda to be that person, even in grief, because I don't think that's something they can bring the character back from. When the director says that you have thousands of people in there, she doesn't even really acknowledge that as a concept. Which either means she's fully aware and doesn't care, or, whatever. And I don't buy that with the scene later when Vision is telling her, Norm has a family, you are keeping him from them. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think Wanda is lying to Vision. I do not believe that it is an emotional lie. Which
I don't think so either, but I don't see how the two don't match up.
Because Wanda is told by the director, you have thousands of people hostage by what she's doing. So
she's a superhero.
So if Wanda is aware of this, then she would be contemplating the fact that that's a problem. And I don't think she is. That's why I don't think that she's the person who walked out and talked to the director. Yes. Also, when I watched it the second time, most of the lines she says make a lot of sense if they're just coming from, let's say, Mephisto, or if it's Agnes. It actually makes a ton of sense, because it's saying, you're not going to interfere with what I'm doing here. This is my thing. Yeah. There's nothing so specific to say that it actually, there's no emotion of who Wanda is beyond one moment, which is when she says, no one will ever take what I want from me again, which I do think is just an added moment to, again, red herring us towards Wanda as the bad guy.
I want to split the difference because I think, again, what's so great about the show and speculation is I think both of you are 100% right, and the next episode could go in either directions. I think those are both super valid. I don't know where I lean right now just because there's not enough information for me. I lean more towards you, Sparks, because when the stuff's happening with the kids and the dog and Vision's there, or the Vision's not there, but Wanda's talking to the kids about death and how like you can't reverse death. Like Wanda doesn't know that she did that to Vision because she's not the person who stole his body. She doesn't fully know what's still happening. But to your point, Brandon, she's okay with it happening. She's letting this happen even if it's bad because this is what she wants. And then that's kind of like I'm not sure about.
But I think
who knows where this could go.
But I think Wanda doesn't think that everyone else is suffering. She doesn't believe that everyone else is here against their will.
I think that's her just being negligent and not just
right. But yeah. I don't think that concept was challenged to her moments before she has the fight with Vision. That's where I'm like, I can't have a Wanda who's told you had thousands of people hostage, then go to Vision and say, I'm not controlling these people. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's why I lean more towards
you. And that be an emotional and honest deception, and also Wanda still be a character.
Here's the thing that I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if I disagree with me. I don't know where I fall because this is just what I'm getting from this episode. And as Ryan said, it could go in any direction. But one of the things that I will add to your argument, Sparks, is that we don't get the implication that Wanda left her kids briefly before going to look for the dog, but Agnes wasn't present, and Agnes shows up after that moment, and we are led to believe that what's happening is in real time.
Yes, I think my interpretation has been that they specifically cite that the drone is out of frame. They're cutting the show to not show it, and they say just like Wanda's done before, but I don't think that's what it is. I think we know that Agnes has been in charge of those cuts. Mm-hmm. So I think this is Agnes again, and she manufactures the image of Wanda and the boys. I think when they walked out the door, they just went after the dog.
Yeah,
they have no other version in their narrative that happened. But what we see is this thing that Agnes is projecting out, which is Wanda coming out and warning S.W.O.R.D and all that.
Yeah.
Another key part of that is that I think that it's true what Monica says to Wanda, which is that you on some level trust me. You wanted me there. You wanted me to give birth to your kids. I think that's true from the real Wanda. I don't think that was the real Wanda talking to her. I don't think that was the real Wanda who was happy to see her because she says, "Oh, you're still here."
A lot of Mephisto speculation going on. I did see on the internet. Just fully going into that. Not only is Mephisto the person who pretending to be Wanda stealing the body to set up this fake reality for Wanda, because I think ultimately in the end they want the kids. This is all for the children because those two kids are super powerful. Wiccan is like a mini Scarlet Witch, and then Speed is he's the quickest. He's Quicksilver. He's real fast, and why wouldn't you want that little kid? Mephisto is using Agnes. Either he is Agnes just using her form, or he's just using her because she's evil. I think the cameo might also be Mephisto, just trying to lure Wanda, but being a multi-dimensional figure got it wrong by accident. Because he knows all the multiverse. And he's like, hey, this can get you back on track, right? Honey, I'm this guy. But he messed up because he's Mephisto. He's a stupid demon, man.
The interesting thing about that is that Wanda does recognize him as Pietro. Not as she doesn't say like, oh, who are you? She says, oh, you're Pietro.
Again, because this reality that she might not have made herself, she's still not fully aware of all of the rules. So she wants to believe that it is this Pietro, even though it's the different multiverse one, because it's the TV show. Oh, it's my brother.
This is real quick, Ben. I think that is even more of the evidence of that Wanda isn't doing all this. Can't be. Wanda would never change her brother.
Yeah.
That's not something she'd ever do. This is being done to her.
I think Mephisto made a deal with Wanda, but Mephisto really miscalculated with how damaged Wanda is and how unstable her powers are.
And how powerful
Vision is and how powerful Wanda is. So this dude is trying to maintain this fake reality long enough to get these kids birthed. This episode, Agnes is trying to get those kids born, baby. Let's get them fasten up.
Yeah, Agnes. To Ryan's point, Agnes does stuff with the babies, and then their little boys. And then Agnes has the dog dead and expects that will force them to age themselves up again to escape pain.
Yeah.
But it fails because of Wanda.
Ben.
As I was trying to talk on the whole, because everyone's thinking that the cameo Pietro is Mephisto. Because I have seen some people like who superimpose the shots. You can see like if you like really look hard on the frames, you can see like little red stuff over his jacket. But also, I think there's a mirror or there's something reflective, and the hand is red. Like Pietro's hand is red.
Oh, I think you're miscalculating, my friend. Because I've seen this. I've seen this twice, and there's no mirror next to Pietro.
It's not on Pietro. It's like behind Wanda.
That would just be reflecting vision.
No, but Pietro's it's when Wanda goes to the front door. Like one.
I know the shot Ben's talking about, but I didn't look at it that closely.
There was some other guy who did it. It's been making the rounds on the internet. So
whether or not I don't know if I'm 100% on the like he is Mephisto, but I think he's there because of it.
Yeah.
Like Ryan, I ascribe more to the fucked up, made a mistake.
Yeah.
Pulled the wrong one. Oopsie.
Like yeah, it's Quicksilver, right? That's a Quicksilver. He's your brother, right?
But also, if my theory is that someone is using Wanda's reality warping powers without Wanda knowing. So like Wanda is doing all this, but she doesn't know that she has changed all these people's lives and all that. Because she is not aware of how powerful she is, but Agnes or whoever Agnes is aware of how powerful she is. But Wanda can't bring back the dead, so she couldn't have brought back Vision, and she definitely couldn't have brought back her Pietro.
Yeah,
but somebody brought back Vision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why Wanda can't. Which is why I like the line where Vision says, "You can't control me like you control everyone else." She can't control Vision.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't think she's controlling everyone else either.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like she's not. I think when she's sitting on the couch and saying, "You think I control when everyone walks their dogs and all this stuff?" So there's this one. Sorry, it just came to mind now. But there's this one moment I do want to spotlight. What the heck is up with the mailman? Okay, this is the second time that they've weirdly spotlighted him.
He's just he's a goofy guy who's probably going to end up being some character.
What if he's Ralph?
I think he's Ralph.
Oh, he's Mephisto
because he has that weird flirty thing. He has that weird flirty
with
thing
Agnes.
With Agnes.
You're right.
And then we were like, why'd they do that? And then he's the guy that they see immediately when we jump back into the show. And they're looking for the dog, and he's like, "Don't worry,
right?
Your mom won't let him get far away." And he's just looking at the kids like,
"Bro, that's totally the bad guy right there." Oh, that's awesome. He's too nice too. Yeah, absolutely. Great.
I'm very positive on the show. I love the show. I have only one critique of the entire 5 episodes we've gotten so far. And it's a small little nitpicky thing. I think this is the first episode where they didn't quite nail the look of the sitcom era they were going for. They definitely nailed the tone and the music specifically. Mm-hmm. But as far as like set design and the outdoor sequences, they didn't quite, it feels more like they tried, but they didn't quite succeed, which is not a big deal comparatively speaking.
I feel like this is the one time, because you know how sometimes sitcoms, like either at their season finale or their halfway season finale, they sometimes try to throw in some like really dramatic thing or event. I feel like this is what they were trying to do with that. So it was like kind of Full House vibe, but at the same time, it's like, here's the really dramatic stuff.
It's Family Ties, Family Matters. It's a lot of different things.
It's 100%. Real quick, sorry, Sparks. It's 100% that, and I think they nailed that, and I love that. The whole like, sit down, boys. You got to talk about death. Blah blah blah. That's all Full House. I love it to death. It's great. Specifically speaking, as far as the look, and I mean look, not tone, not music, not anything. I mean look. So I'm talking specifically set design. When they're outside in a sitcom era set in the 80s. With sitcom set in the 80s, when they go outside, they didn't have controlled spaces, so it was very saturated and gross, and wind was everywhere, and so like all that thing. This was definitely a set, and that could be the pandemic. And even though it's not, it doesn't take me out of anything. It is just like I've been really positive on the show, and I noticed this one little thing, and I felt like I should bring it up because fair's fair.
Yeah. I think that the other thing is that the 80s is right around the time where sitcoms start meaning more than one thing, where that term starts being applied to more than one type of show. It's no longer the 3-camera stationary house setup, that the 80s is where that starts to get a little funky. And for shows where they're not as based in that, they do a lot of outside. There are shows that are more based in that time period around outside things where they build sets, where they have controlled, like, this is our outdoor set. So little bit of pushback on that, because I think that now they're just like broad stroking what the sitcoms of the decade were rather than going with just one.
I just love. I'll balance it off with a thing that I love that they do that's small. A thing that I dislike that was small with a thing that I love that was small. I love that the house makes no sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love to death that the exterior of the house does not match up with the interior at all.
That is pretty cool.
In a similar note to how they did the 80s tone and everything, we've really buried the lead on this episode about the best thing, which is kid vision.
Oh my god.
The opening sequence.
Oh my god, I lost my mind. I can't believe they did that.
I really wish. I really wish. I love it. But I really wish it was Jarvis. They like had a picture of Jarvis through the ages.
Just a little AI.
Yeah.
At least as like the first baby thing, and then yeah.
That'd be funny.
You know what it should have been? It should have been when it gets to the chalkboard shot of him writing on the chalkboard. The chalkboard is Jarvis.
Oh Lord.
Oh, kind of like Watson, the IBM machine. Oh,
yeah.
So this was bugging my brain when I first saw it. Lagos. That's the opening scene in Civil War, right? Okay,
yes.
That's what I thought.
You made an oopsie.
They mention it. They mention it in this episode. The director does when he's talking about Wanda as a criminal, as a terrorist. I love
that whole
Jimmy Woo.
That whole scene is great.
Shooting back is like, that's an oversimplification, but sure.
Yeah, I love the commercial. This is the first time I almost skipped the commercial because I thought it was a real commercial.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, "Oh, commercial break." Oh, wait, this is one of the episodes.
So I didn't watch. Probably should have watched this twice, but unfortunately I didn't. But when I went to go get my lunch this afternoon,
you make a mess and you didn't mean to.
So I did not catch that line the first time. I went. My roommate was watching it, and right when I got downstairs, I saw he was watching. It's like, okay, shut up. But then I get to that commercial, and then I hear the line of for messes you didn't mean to make. I'm like, oh, like like when you're trying to, because as much as I love the MCU, as much as I love how one of the biggest things I love about it is how big and expansive and how it all interconnects. It's like what? We're 10, 11 plus years down the line. You start to forget things every once in a while. Even though Civil War is a newer film, I still sometimes kind of forget. It's like, wait, I know that's a big thing. Where was Lagos? What happened in Lagos? Shit, where was that?
It took me a second, and like once like it was just a way too much red Kool-Aid, like blood, and I'm like, oh yeah, all right.
I just recently watched Civil War like a week ago.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go. Yeah.
It's been a minute since I last seen Civil War.
Same actors.
I'll be 100%. Like, I wouldn't have been able to pull Lagos out of my butt if they hadn't brought it up earlier in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they brought it up is what made me go, gotcha.
Bing bong.
One of the things that I think the show does really well, going back to the sitcom situation, this episode specifically, in the first 3 episodes, we are not uncomfortable in the sitcom scenario. We are very comfortable in it. We are embracing it as the formula for the show, and we're laughing along with the characters until
one thing happens.
And then one thing happens. This episode was the first time that I think it's intentional. I know it's intentional. The entire time we're in the sitcom scenario, we are meant to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, I love it from get-go. Agnes is just like, it's just so weird that it happens like almost all of a sudden. It is so unnerving for Agnes, just like, do you want to do it again? And Vision just like, I'm freaking out right now. What's happening?
Yeah, Catherine Hahn's finally getting weird.
Yeah, like it's feeling weird. And then she's just like hanging up like on the thing, like, your kids don't never want to grow up, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, it's just so weird, man.
Like she's trying to find the liquor in their house.
Yeah.
Right after the boys grow up for the first time, she's sitting over there and she's like, kids, you just can't control them.
Yeah, as much as I really want to because I'm a demon and I love them.
Exactly. Okay, so we can all agree Agnes is definitely
a bad
representation of the entity in control.
Yeah,
I have been of that opinion since before the show started.
Yes, we all have, but like I think this episode really laid it on pretty thick.
Oh yeah.
However, still in a way where I think like this is the key. People who aren't used to genre television are buying
that
this is why
I can't like this is the greatest thing on the planet because people are going to be like, man, this show is really weird. What other shows are like this? And then everyone's just going to go, Twin Peaks!
I've already seen people being like, man, I really like the show, but boy, am I upset that Wanda's just another redhead with superpowers goes crazy girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not what it's going to be.
That's
not what it is.
It can't be that.
Guys, it's TV show 101. As soon as Monica says it's all Wanda, that's the TV show going, it's not Wanda, guys.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad that we can all agree on that. I do think that they're really trying to red herring you towards Wanda and our main characters on the outside too, Jimmy, Monica, and Darcy. They need to be thinking they're against Wanda on some level, or that they need to be concerned about her.
Mm-hmm.
BT Dubs, Jimmy Woo, Darcy, MVP of the show.
Yo, so there's a guy on Twitter. His name's Stephen Ford. He's a big nerd. He made a, what did he say?
He's a writer too.
He's a writer too. He follows me on Twitter. He also follows like 30,000 people, so it doesn't make me feel any better. But he made like a kind of viral post saying like, why is it we need to have a Jimmy Woo X-Files Marvel show? And then he posted like yesterday, like, hey guys, I'm writing a spec script for this show. My life just changed. And then like an hour ago, I don't have the tweet in front of me, but he was like, I went from having holes in my shoes to writing a Marvel script. Life is sometimes really wild in like a matter of a week. I just think Hollywood's sometimes funny that way. I want that show so bad. I
love that there's a possibility we're going to get the Jimmy Woo Darcy show.
I can't believe it.
I don't care. I want it.
I really love because Ben brought it up. The three of them. I think Monica is one of the best new characters that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever created.
I do love Monica quite a bit.
Yeah,
she's wonderful. Man. I love her so much.
And there's a great little line when Jimmy Woo references Captain Marvel, and she gives a look of either it's sadness, regret, anger, of something. They have a past, and it's been 20 years, so they have an entire history we don't know about. So like, that's the next movie, babe. That's Captain Marvel's gonna explore all that shit. I'm like, oh, it's spicy.
I love the conversation, but it does raise a question like, how did they see the fight?
Clearly, S.W.O.R.D was monitoring the Avengers compound.
Yo, that thing up space.
Clearly, they watched that fight.
Yeah.
Who do you think's the astrophysicist that Monica texts?
Brandon, you read Ultimates.
I think it's Blue Marvel.
It's Blue Marvel, 100%. Dude, he's such a small, obscure character. He just showed up in Doctor Doom, the new recent Doctor Doom comic. That dude's super dope. Man, yeah, it's they're. Yeah, I got a feeling it's that guy.
Here's the thing. Marvel knows what we're going to do, baby. Marvel knows that if you say, I know an astrophysicist, we're going to speculate on who it could be. Now, Marvel doesn't always write lines like that. Sometimes they'll just say, oh, my friend such and such will come in here and do this. But they specifically made it a setup for another character showing up. I got to say, it's Blue Marvel.
So
they put a focus shot for a moment on her texting the person.
So if you go ahead, Ben.
Because actually, I was racking my brain this morning. Is like, who do I know the Marvel uses as an astrophysicist? And the only person I could think of was Jane Foster.
I really want to be clear and point out that she didn't say astrophysicist. She said aerospace engineer.
Sorry, yeah. There you go.
I was wrong. Never mind.
Because Darcy is an astrophysicist. She's there.
Sorry, there you go. Yeah.
Aerospace engineer. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh, I had something. I'll think about it in a second.
Because she wouldn't be the one saying Jane Foster. That'd be Darcy.
Yeah.
And again, like Darcy is there. She's an astrophysicist. She's a doctor.
Right.
I really go ahead.
Sorry, I remember. I from the first trailer, Monica talks about building this thing that can break through the barrier. That can it's in the trailer. If you see it, it's like it's a truck thing. It looks like a cool design that some cool Blue Marvel man made. I'm just saying.
Man, what a cool thing how they figure out, oh, so she's rewriting things as they go in. What if we send in something that doesn't need to be rewritten?
Yeah.
Send in something from the 80s.
That's awesome.
That was a great idea. I loved the way they did that.
I really like the whole subplot with Jimmy, Darcy, and Monica. I said how much I love Monica, but I gotta say, I love Jimmy Woo and I love Darcy. Seeing them all together working out the problem was such a cool sequence for me. One of the things where I think Marvel shines is in its side characters become as relatable and as likable as their major heroes. And like here we are seeing these three characters. Right now, Monica is a side character, even though we know she becomes Photon. But these three characters are so wonderful together, and I just love seeing them.
That is a testament to just like great casting, great chemistry, just like being easy to work with, fun to work with. Everyone wants to be in a Marvel movie. Like, yeah.
And I like their little banter of like, well, Wanda almost killed Thanos.
Yeah, they have a Twitter battle real quick.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Yeah, I really like that whole section. I want to talk about one of my favorite moments, not my favorite moment, but one of my favorite moments, which is when Vision wakes up the guy at the computational service.
Oh, I love that.
With his scene. And not only that, before we talk about him, I want to talk about what it means that everybody in the room at least read the email.
That's weird. Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah, why did that happen? That's a good
that one I haven't been able to figure out at all. I don't know why that happened.
I got it. Maybe because like the town is in like this weird like miasma of like everyone has to like live in the decade. It's like a communal telepathic thing because like they're all part of this puzzle. Like so like one person starts reading it and it starts affecting everyone else.
Why did the email show up though?
Because S.W.O.R.D did like a weird.
See, this is what I've been trying to figure out because it's not an attempt to contact them on the inside. It's a message being sent about the situation to someone who's not in there. They're saying please advise and everything, and they get on the frequency somehow.
Oh,
that's the thing that threw me off.
If you want here's my thing. I think the entire time Agnes is trying to tip Vision off that something is wrong. She wants Vision to know that something is wrong. That's why she shows up. That's why she's making all the distractions.
She wants to cause tension between them, so Wanda will go to her side. Oh, Brandon, that's good.
So she let the computers intercept that message, and she did that moment so that he will have the moment with Norm.
She talks to when she's talking to Vision with Herb, like she starts to like get a little weird and then goes back, like reverses it, maybe just to ease him on just a little bit to make him curious.
Yeah.
Ooh, she's Agnes is a spicy lady.
Maybe
man.
You know what I think it probably is that Vision is too strong.
Strong-willed.
And that's a panic thing. And so now it's whatever I can do to get Vision forced out of Westview.
Yeah.
Or to choose to leave of his own accord where he'll just stop existing.
Another moment, Wanda does her powers in front of Agnes and Vision's like, yo, what's up? And Wanda's like, oh, she didn't see. Is that Wanda just being super like just like negligent and not even like not caring or like
I think it's supposed to be an indication for like
she's
Agnes has reached into a subconscious level. Again, like I don't think Wanda is being deceitful to Vision.
Yeah.
I think she genuinely doesn't remember.
That's what I'm
Agnes saying, you want me to hold the babies and stopping everything and starting over.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't think Wanda connects those things. I don't think she's allowed to. And so I think that's why she's like on some level Agnes is fine because Agnes is a non-threat entity.
There you go.
When Agnes is actually the most threatening,
the
entity.
ultimate.
Yeah.
Spicy.
That moment with Norm is incredible. My favorite moment is when he confronts him, he confronts her in the kitchen, and she's like. And she like does the psychotic head tilt that she does.
Yeah.
And the credits roll, and he's like, "Do not play with me!" And he's like yelling at her as like we get the realization that he doesn't remember being an Avenger. He doesn't remember being dead. He doesn't remember anything before Westview.
Just since his reboot,
which I kind of figured. Yeah. Like, how could he remember all those things and also accept the current situation?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that Vision has no memory of anything outside of Westview.
Yeah, he got a system reboot basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
No, I hope that's not the case. I hope it's like a thing of suppressive memories. So like
he's also like a robot, so you can easily just like flip that switch again or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure that he'll remember eventually.
Yeah.
Ben.
So the fight is actually my favorite part of the episode too, because it was everything like when Vision. One of my favorite parts of every episode is when Vision starts to question his reality, when he's questioning everything around him. And of course, in like the first 3 episodes, we see like it go cut, and then he's like, "Oh, okay, everything's fine." And it's like, "Yeah, I think everything." You know, like the scene when
we remember.
Yeah, you guys remember. But when he first talks to Norm and then confronts Wanda, I just thought it was hilarious how the credits were rolling and the happy music started playing, but they were still yelling at each other.
No, man, that's unnerving. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought that was really
unnerving. It is uncomfortable, but it is like, yes, Vision, confront her about this. What the F is going on?
I really like the. Oh, by the way, Ryan, Sparky.
Yeah. Oh man. So we not only got Sparky, and he also died. We also got that stupid WandaVision plant or something where like the dog eats it. Like I don't think that plot element's coming in, but it's a really nice nod to the comic.
Yeah.
God damn it! I just made it was right before Ryan said the comic.
It's subtle. You'd miss it if you didn't think.
Yeah, it's great.
I read that book and I completely forgot. Son of a bitch. All right.
Yeah. I really do like when, like, kudos to the actor when he gets pulled out by Vision and then has to go back in. He does a great job with that scene. Very, very convincing.
Good job, Norm.
It is cool to see Vision autonomously using his powers. This has negated that episode 1 idea that everyone had, that Vision couldn't do things with his abilities unless Wanda let him.
Yeah,
that's not true.
He can just do it.
He can just do it.
I want to be clear, because I remember I said something similar. I don't think that Vision could have acted. I think he could always use his powers, but I don't think he could have acted without Wanda's consent in that moment. But now he has slowly become more of an autonomous being, so now he's able to do it of his own free will.
Sure. But anyway, so I thought that was excellent, but I also agree that the favorite moment of the episode for me is when Vision challenges her. When he's that's the whole thing, is that moment is
so human right there.
The thing is, like, they're both displaying so much emotion and reality between their relationship. I just can't believe that Wanda's lying and deceiving him in that moment.
Yeah.
Which is what makes me think Wanda couldn't possibly be the person who walked out and threatened the director.
Because, like,
those two characters don't line up.
Everything that she's been through and done, especially after Lagos, like I do agree in that point where, like, when he brings up, yo, you have 1,000 people captured and she does not give a shit. I don't believe that character would do that. Like, even in the moment, I was like, I said to you, I'm like, wow, that's not very superhero ever. So I'm like,
I'll also do, I think it was Megan's point that she brought up after we watched it, was that I agree with her. I don't think Wanda would have walked out in the outfit she chose to walk out in.
Oh, that's a good point.
Her Endgame outfit. I don't think that's the outfit she would have been in.
Considering that's not the outfit that she stole Vision's body in.
Correct. I noticed that too. So
why,
I don't.
You're right. Why?
I don't. I think that there are enough subtle clues to be read into. I think that for me, they're pointing in the direction of, like, that's not Wanda. Stealing the body wasn't Wanda.
So I had a thought that I wanted to bring up, that the when we see her steal the body, the thing is, we know two things about Wanda from this episode. One, that she can't bring back the dead, and one, that she knows that death is a permanent thing and that cannot be stopped. So why would she go searching for Vision's body? Why would she take Vision's body why not Pietro's body?
Exactly. So that's why I think Wanda must have been in such a crazy state where Mephisto, or whoever it is, Mephisto, I'm just saying Mephisto, offered her this deal saying, hey, honey, I'll get your Vision back. I'll set you up in a sweet little town. You have to give me your kids. You didn't hear that part. And I think it's Rumpelstiltskin. I think that's exactly what's happening. And he stole Vision's body, and he doesn't care that Wanda's the person who did it, because he's a demon. He doesn't care about her reputation. He got the body.
I would say the only reason is because, well, Vision's a robot. Robots can be repaired. They can be fixed. That's why she took the body back.
Vision's will, which she loves Vision. Vision's will is to not let this happen if I die.
They mentioned that in the episode too.
To be fair, S.W.O.R.D clearly
doesn't care.
Hypocritical, because they were also messing with Vision's body against his will.
I bet if Monica was there, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
Well, but also, like, how would Wanda know where Vision's body was?
She'd have to do some detective work. She can ask Nat. Oh, wait.
And now, see, I don't think so. I think that was Wanda's body that took Vision. I don't think Wanda of sound mind would have done that.
She just wasn't in control of her actions.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those things where I literally either of these answers can be true and right. Like, either way, it's not Wanda doing it herself.
That's what I was going to say. Is like, even if it's Wanda's body, it's not Wanda.
Yeah. Wanda, take a nap, and when you wake up, everything will be fine. I'm going to use your body to do a lot of bad shit. Oopsies.
She even says, I don't know how this started, which means that she doesn't remember stealing Vision's body.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, I just don't feel like she's having that conversation with the director either, because I think that contradicts her conversation with Vision at the end of the episode.
I do think that she is aware of what's happening now, because the moment from the last episode when she sees Vision's dead body, I still think that was a reminder from Agnes, Mephisto, whoever the hell, saying if this is what you get if you screw up.
I agree that she's aware of her little reality of fakeness of Westview. I do not think she is aware of the thousands of people in Westview suffering. Sure. I don't think she actually understands that, or that they're held against their will or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think that concept is real to her. I don't think she thinks they're real people or that she's hurting anyone by being there. And I think that Vision would have gotten through to her in that moment when he's starting the conversation that starts with, why are there no children?
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have gotten through to her, and that's why Pietro has to show up.
Yep.
Another thing to keep her distracted and keep her there for a little longer until those boys get just ripe enough to snap.
I really like the line when Vision says, "What? So I can go to bed and you can change everything again?"
Mm-hmm.
I like that, the idea that she is changing the reality.
And it's like he's like almost so used to it, he just like throws it out like, so you can just like go stomp off and play video games again. Like it's just a normal thing, changing reality every day. Like it's a weird place these guys.
But she doesn't understand what he's talking about either.
Yeah.
So whatever amount of her power, and I don't think it's all her power that's involved, she's not really aware of how it's being utilized.
Yeah. A fun little thing in the comics, like she uses like hex abilities, like hex powers, and it's they found a fun way to include it in here, like
they call it the hex,
the hexagon. Yeah, us, and again 6 sides like refers to the devil.
And 6 sides.
Exactly. Lots of devil work. Watch it just be like some random guy no one cares about.
There's someone who was like, I'm not gonna show the post on the thing.
There are so many theories. Like there's actually a really good Dr. Doom theory that I think is pretty good for who like the aerospace engineer guy might be, but I don't think they're gonna bring that guy in this quickly. I think it is like gonna be a small character if they do that kind of.
There's a thing where if you look behind Agnes on the wallpaper of the poster, the wallpaper definitely has a face.
Yeah, Megan showed me that as well. It's like it almost looks like it's like the 3-face thing, but it's like a demon face. Yeah.
We could be making something out of nothing, but it definitely looks like a face.
At this point, whether it's Mephisto, whether it's Master Pandemonium, who is another demon-like entity from the comics from the 80s, or like it
could just be Agatha Harkness too. It could
also just be Agatha Harkness, this evil witch lady. And she's the lady who trained Wanda, so like she does have that much power. It just seems that, considering this leads directly into the Doctor Strange thing, I think it's bigger than that. It feels bigger than that to me.
I said before on an episode, I don't know if maybe Mephisto is the villain of WandaVision, but I do think Mephisto is a good villain for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're clearly, like, I stand by. I think Evan Peters shows up at the end as Quicksilver because the person's pulling from a multiverse of things, and it's like, Pietro, got it.
Mephisto might be like, the king of hell, but he's still like a dude who's kind of dumb. So like, he pulled her brother, but he pulled the wrong one because he's not paying that much attention.
Can I just say, there's a lot of people talking online. I want to talk about some of the meta things about Evan Peters showing up as Quicksilver in this. The thing a lot of people are talking about, like, how this is how the X-Men show up. No, this is how mutants show up. No, it is interesting that Evan Peters is the first mutant to show up in the MCU.
It is funny.
But now that he has shown up, and which is something that could have only happened with Disney buying Fox, he shares so many differences with the Maximoffs. He's not the same Pietro as Aaron Taylor Johnson. I really hope we see Aaron Taylor Johnson in the show.
And Wanda isn't the same like little 2-year-old girl that we saw in that X-Men movie when Pietro's introduced. Like, yeah.
Because that deleted scene's not canon.
It's in my heart.
But he says, he's American. He's Magneto's son. He's a mutant. Like he is not a Maximoff. The meta implications of it are, I believe every single rumor coming out of Spider-Man.
That's what he said. Yeah, 100%. All those characters are in there. 100%. That is going to be the biggest, wildest. Tom Holland, I think this on Quoted said this is like the biggest like solo superhero movie ever made that they're making right now. And I'm like, yeah, because every Spider-Man's in it. That's why.
You've done literally what I thought would be impossible 10 years ago. Not even 5 years ago. Not even 2 years ago.
No, we got the dream. The dream's happening. Like, As I was watching, as I was talking about with Sparks after we watched it, like I'm done with those Fox movies. Like, they had their 20 years. I'm happy for a fresh start. It is incredibly awesome that Disney at least acknowledges that they existed and is willing to put the first mutant on screen just be Quicksilver, not like Professor X. It's Quicksilver. That's crazy.
Well, if Kevin Feige is chief creative officer at Marvel, which we know he is, the X-Men films have a designation in the multiverse. They have a designation in the multiverse, just like the MCU does. So the X-Men films will always exist in their multiverse. But I also don't think that Kevin Feige is willing to commit to 20 years of X-Men lore to bring it into the MCU. So I think this is just a one-off.
No, I'm sure that this is not the lead into those X-Men are now the mutants of the MCU. That's not what it's going to be. But it is a cool way of doing it. It is Kevin Feige looking at Crisis on Infinite Earths where they brought in Ezra Miller and going, hold my beer.
We got you.
I did think, I was talking to Ryan, I'm like, it's a shame that the big advantage that the DC universe had over the MCU, they just couldn't move fast enough to really exploit before the MCU could exploit it better.
Hey, if that Flash movie would have came out like 4 years ago, like it was supposed to, that this would be a different story.
If it came out 4 years ago, it probably wouldn't have Michael Keaton in it.
It's also true. You win or lose. Oh man, yeah. This is fun. I like talking about the show, you guys.
But the other thing is that the other thing I told Brandon and I told Ryan
real quick. I had thought out. I forgot. I 100% think that Evan Peters is going to say the word mutant in the next episode, though. He's going to be like, "No, I'm a mutant. What are you?" And she's going to go, "I don't know what that means." And that does not mean it's setting up anything. But I 100% think he's going to say mutant. It's going to make the nerds blow up in the world.
Well, what could be interesting is if he says, "I'm a mutant," and she'd be like, "Wait, so you're not my Pietro?"
Yeah, and then
I don't even think that's how he'll say it. What I think he'll say is because he'll meet the boys.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, so they're mutants too, right?
Oh shit. And then what if they're the first mutants? Ah! Oh my god.
Anyway, the thing I was gonna say that I said to Ryan, that I said to Brandon and Ben, who's leaving.
Bye, Ben. He just couldn't handle how good the Young Avengers are going to be.
Gone. The thing that I said was that now that we've had this Evan Peters appearance, every single Netflix person is coming back.
Oh my god, Charlie Cox is absolutely in Spider-Man, 100%.
They can't bring back a member from a failed franchise.
Yeah,
and not bring back.
Yeah, that's just rude. That's just rude.
It really is.
And the thing is, like, you know, Kevin, like, again, Kevin knows what the fans want. And so he gave them Evan Peters, like, he's going to give them Charlie Cox.
100%.
Those rumors are definitely true. Yeah. I believe Charlie Cox's Daredevil is inspired.
Oh, man, he's suiting up.
The Netflix characters are on the board and they're coming back for sure.
Do you guys remember when we were talking about Infinity War, when we were like, oh man, we're going to see the Living Tribunal and Eternity, and we were like so like into that, and we were like, and they went small, and it's great, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
That lowered the bar for me to where I was like, oh, we're not going to do multiverse, we're not going to do mutants, we're just going to do blah, blah. And now that this is like, I'm like, well, shit, literally, Marvel will do anything, and I don't think I'll be surprised anymore.
I think
once the deal with Fox ended, that opened the floodgates.
I thought I closed them. Legitimately, I thought I closed them.
Yeah. I don't even think that's necessarily what it was. I truly think it's the Disney Plus shows. It's the fact that they can tell these stories in nice, concise bites. They don't have to live up to some Netflix or ABC standard. They get to be, it's a limited series of whatever amount we decide to tell the story. And we're telling the story, but we're able to do it a little longer, a little more stretched out, more focused in on the characters than we can in the movies. And without that, I don't think that this would have happened.
Yeah.
I don't think that this would have happened in a film. It's happening here because they can take the time to actually explore what is the concept of that. They can take their time to explore what does that mean on a character level, not just as a gimmick.
And it's something that I love bringing up. Like, I think it might be, well, it's kind of tied to my first favorite trope, which is the old man thing, but the old man trope. But like this, like time is the best thing for entertainment because it allows things to be reborn, to come back and be exciting again. You know, like every movie reboot is the old characters coming back now. And I just think it's just so cool that these side characters like Jimmy Woo and Darcy are like the leads of a show. And we're talking about them for now almost an hour. And I'm like, yeah, and it's actually really good too. It's just like if you care about the material, anything can be good. Any character is worth it.
I just think that Evan Peters showing up is such a mind-blowing moment.
It's unbelievable.
Look,
it's really unbelievable. Yeah,
it's game-changing.
Yeah,
I went into WandaVision knowing something happened, but something happens every episode. So I'm like, I'm not committed to a concept, and I'm like, probably one of the three big people we've named showed up, which is Quicksilver, Ultron, or Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
It was a Quicksilver.
It was Quicksilver, Ultron, or Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but like, so the Evan Peters thing was out there because we heard about the Spanish voice dub. And we talked about that, and I'm like, I'm gonna chalk that up to rumor. But I'm like, I didn't rule it out, but I wasn't expecting it. What I was expecting was probably Aaron Taylor Johnson shows up in this episode.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But it was still really cool.
It's the confusion that Darcy has, and I think it's very important that we need to frame this as, because people are like praising the MCU, like, oh, Quicksilver from now on will be Evan Peters. No, Darcy says it. She recast Pietro. That's important, because why would she? Why would she recast her brother?
She wouldn't.
That's the thing. You're right, Brandon, because that is the ending note of the episode that we need to focus on, because that is the episode telling you, despite all the evidence that you might think you saw in this episode, Wanda ain't doing this.
Yeah.
She even says it when the door knocks. She says, "I didn't do that.
I didn't do that. You don't believe me," because she is upset. Because Vision is upset. Because Vision thinks she's controlling this town, and she truly doesn't believe she is, and has no intention that she is. And that truly is what sells me on, no way, she didn't walk out and threaten people.
Yeah.
She's in that mode. She doesn't know people are hurting and hostage.
I was really happy to see the accent back, though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I think that's really great. I'm sure that she will still have that when she is being her regular self, but I do think that was there just further, like, trying to just sell you, like, oh, it's Wanda for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man,
wink, wink.
Yeah.
Love it. Love the show.
Yep,
I love the show. I'm so happy to have the MCU back in my life. I'm gonna go watch the last 3 X-Men movies for no reason.
I haven't watched the Days of Future Past Rogue cut, and I like Rogue, and I like that movie, and that's a movie I haven't seen. So
what? I recommend. I have it if you want to borrow it.
I have it. It's here.
Oh, you have it. Yeah, it's on my movies.
I don't want to borrow yours. I'm gonna drive and get it from him.
Oh,
no, it's on my movies anywhere. You can just use my account.
No. I need the DVD.
Okay. I like the Rogue cut more than the theatrical cut personally.
Good.
I do too.
Excellent.
I thought that there were things lacking in the theatrical cut that the Rogue cut kind of helped.
Is she actually in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Okay.
Like a full blown
like a part.
I love Rogue. Cool.
It's wild the difference between those cuts, to be honest with you.
Good to know. Cool.
There's a great sequence in Xavier's mansion with Magneto and Bobby that I just think is chef's kiss.
Excellent.
I need to watch the Rogue. I still haven't seen the Rogue cut. And I really want to watch that.
Well, you can borrow my movies anywhere.
Right.
As a person who was more cold on Days of Future Past when it first came out, Rogue cut did me better than the theatrical cut did.
Sugar, love it. WandaVision.
All right.
I still find my main problem with that movie, but that's okay.
We'll talk. We'll listen to our X-Men top from 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
We don't do Fake Nerds After Dark for this. We don't do Fake Nerds After Dark for anything yet.
Yet.
Yeah.
You're boring now.
All right.
Sorry, real quick, guys. The Young Avengers are happening. Those kids are gonna be teenagers. Spoiler alert. I like, with all the rumors of like Quicksilver and stuff, I saw the casting tapes for these kids and all. Like, I knew these kids were in the show from the beginning. So I'm like, wow, it's really, really happening. I love the Young Avengers. It's so great. Like, all those kids are alive now.
I told you my theory that the reason why they didn't announce an Avengers film in Phase 4 is because it's called Young Avengers.
Do you think it'll be a show, or will they make that a movie?
Movie.
I want it to be a movie. Yeah, give them the spotlight.
Here's the thing. Here's one reason why I think that. It's because he's very clear that if they show up in a show, they're going to be in a movie. So most of the Young Avengers characters are showing up in shows prior, with the exception of America Chavez, who's showing up in Multiverse of Madness. I think that's the key. I think that's the cue in that we're like, hey, they're going to show up, and then you'll see them in a movie.
Yeah, and I think it's still going to be something that has the Avengers.
Yeah.
and they're going to all be
messed up.
Not all, but like most are going to be unable to take on the main thing.
And then the youngins come in.
Or they'll be focusing on the other things, so the youngins are prominent.
It's crazy that, like, legitimately, like, we just had the event, and this is going to wrap up the podcast. We've been going on for like over an hour, but like, we just had the event called Empire, where Wiccan and his space husband Hulkling, the Emperor of Space, like, they're like the main characters of a book. Like, they could do that event in like 15 years, 10 years. Like, the stuff's there. It's like
6 years.
They really could do it in less if they wanted to, but like, Marvel's been so good about spreading things out where it took them 10 years to get to Endgame. And that was just like level 1 boss of Thanos, right? So they have so many more times they can do this. Small stuff, big stuff. It's like, yo, man, Marvel's not going anywhere. So like, please don't get sick of it, because I'm not.
Yeah, I firmly believe. And you know what? Maybe Hulkling is introduced in that Young Avengers movie. Who knows?
Yeah. Or Secret Invasion, Bing Bong.
Or Secret Invasion. Oh my God, Secret Invasion's coming, guys.
Yeah,
Roll, baby.
There you go.
Because Hulkling's like what, half Skrull, right?
He's the son of Captain Marvel, the original. I don't think he'll be Annette Benning's.
You could do it though. You could do it.
Oh yeah, she could just have a husband. It could just be different. It could be swapped. Absolutely. Yeah, but he's half Skrull, half Kree. He's cool.
All right.
Okay, that's it. Love the MCU. Love WandaVision. Love talking about it.
Give me the money, Disney.
But that'll do it. This is the longest episode of our show and WandaVision.
Yeah. That it's funny because like the episode ended when the credits were rolling, and then like, no, we still got like 5-6 more minutes. We're not done.
They I clocked it. The sitcom episode is still the same, like 22, 25 length, but it's the extra stuff that they added on that made the length bigger.
To Brandon's point, just talking about the sitcom episode, the other thing I want to talk about is I thought they did a really good job. This is the first episode that tries to interweave sitcom and reality.
Oh yeah,
and I thought they did a really good job of it. That we're firmly in the sitcom world up until the end of the opening sequence, and then we spill back into reality, and reality is happening while what we just watched is happening on the view screens in real time.
Yeah,
and then when those opening credits end, you go right back into the sitcom.
Yeah,
very smooth, very smooth.
Okay, so that'll do it. Cool. WandaVision, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode of WandaVision.
3 hours long.
And we're going to do. That's how long our Endgame episode is. So we'll keep on tracking with this. We have other shows on this network, on this channel. If you're watching this, make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, because then you get all the cool stuff of like, hey, there's the Fake Nerd Book Club where we just did Little Char and the Gang, and we're going to record another episode of that soon. We're going to keep going with that, and then we have the Basement Arcade 2 Basement Arcade series. We got the Basement Arcade Let's Play series and the Basement Arcade Pause menu.
Yeah, that we do.
New episode. First episode of that is the Spider-Man PlayStation 4, and another episode going up soon. And we have the show, obviously.
Jailbreak, Raph Leaks, Spider-Man, Comic-Con.
What?
I got a poster from Comic-Con, the Spider-Man newspaper.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
it's on my wall.
And of course we have the Mothership podcast, the Fake Nerd podcast, which we do every Sunday. We've been doing it live for, well, it seems like forever. So you can check out that every Sunday. The audio goes up on Monday. Which this week we're talking about Space Sweepers.
Oh my God, I forgot. Amazing.
Good thing I told you that.
I watched it.
The new Netflix original movie Space Sweepers. That's going to go up soon, or if you're watching this later, then it's already up. I don't know how time works anymore. So yeah. What?
Uploads. You know how they go.
Yeah. So anyway, stay tuned for all that cool stuff. We do a lot of stuff, and we think it's all really fun and cool. So check it out. All right, I'm at BC McClure on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me, Ben.
You can find me on the internet at BenMagnet27. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I'm getting better on Twitter, which is good.
Sparks.
You can find me remaining absolutely confident that Wanda is innocent at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Ryan.
Guys, Wanda meant to say no. More mutants. They just got it wrong. You can find me making that joke on DJ Tony Snark everywhere because I'm dumb.
All right. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time we see us, stay fake nerds.
Where's the remote? Get the remote, Brandon. Where's the remote, Brandon?
I'm not going to do it.
No!